If you're cruising with MSC and trying to decide whether a drinks package is worth it, you're not alone. MSC drinks packages look straightforward at first, but once you start looking at what's included, where they work, and how pricing actually plays out on board, things get complicated very quickly. In this video, I'll walk you through the 10 things you genuinely need to know before buying an MSC drinks package. This is based on my experience on MSC Poesia, but this applies across MSC cruises, particularly UK and European sailings. The first thing to understand is that MSC drinks packages aren't one-size-fits-all. What's available depends on where you're sailing, how long your cruise is, and sometimes even the ship. On many UK and European itineraries, including my cruise on MSC Poesia, the 4 packages you'll usually see are the Easy package, which is the entry-level alcoholic option, the Premium Extra package, which is the top-tier option, the Alcohol-Free package, designed for adults who don't drink alcohol, and the Minors package, for children and teenagers. Each one sounds straightforward, but they work quite differently in practice. What makes this confusing is that the package names stay the same, but the fine print changes depending on itinerary and region. The drink price caps can vary. Some venues are included on one sailing but not another, and not every package is offered on every cruise. Before you look at any drinks package, it's important to understand what MSC includes if you don't buy one. On MSC, complimentary drinks are fairly limited compared to some other cruise lines. You'll have access to water, tea, coffee, iced tea, and juice at breakfast in the buffet. In the main dining room at dinner, you'll also be given a bottle of water per person, which is included. That's useful to know, because not everyone realizes that water at dinner is covered. However, one difference I noticed on my cruise is that I was never offered tea or coffee at lunch or dinner in the main dining room. On some other cruise lines, that's included as standard, but on MSC, it didn't seem to be part of the service. It's also worth knowing that there is a kettle in your cabin, so you can make your own tea and coffee there if you prefer. That can help keep costs down slightly, if you're happy doing that. Where MSC differs from some other cruise lines is their policy on bringing drinks on board. MSC has a strict rule that passengers cannot bring alcohol, beer, soft drinks, bottled water, or juices on board at embarkation. Security can confiscate these items, and any alcohol purchased in port will be held until the final night of the cruise. The only real exceptions are water needed for medical devices and, in some cases, infant formula. So if you're used to bringing a bottle of wine or a pack of water on board with you, that isn't something MSC allows. Outside of breakfast and the dinner water, most drinks are chargeable. Soft drinks, bottled water beyond that, specialty coffees, mocktails, cocktails, beer, and wine all add up if you're paying as you go, particularly on sea days. That's why even people who don't drink heavily often still consider a drinks package on MSC. This is a good point to look at the drinks menu, because this is where the decision really starts. Here's the drinks menu from a Northern Europe sailing. Prices are in euros, and this is what you'll be paying on board. I've also popped a PDF of the drinks menus in the description below, so you can look through them properly in your own time and run the numbers for yourself. The key thing to notice is that none of the individual prices look excessive on their own. But once you factor in a few drinks a day, it's very easy to be spending 20 to 30 euros per day without really noticing, especially on sea days. The Easy package is the cheapest alcoholic drinks package MSC offers on many European sailings, and it's the one I had on MSC Poesia. It includes a limited selection of classic cocktails, house spirits with 1 brand per type, house wine by the glass, Heineken beer, soft drinks, bottled water, and classic hot drinks like espresso, cappuccino, and latte. Beverage gratuities are included. The important word here is limited. The cocktail menu is small, and most cocktails are pre-mixed. They're not standout, but they're fine. Some bars do them better than others, but this isn't a craft cocktail experience. One thing I did appreciate is that soft drinks were mainly served in cans. Bottled water was also included, and I made proper use of both over the week. On MSC Poesia, the Easy package cost me just over £200 for 7 nights when booked in advance, which works out at roughly £30 a day. And I still roughly broke even once you factor in water, coffees, soft drinks, and the occasional cocktail. And this is the important part. Easy is the package most people are more likely to break even on. Because the daily cost is lower, you don't need to drink heavily to justify it. A few beers or glasses of wine, bottled water during the day, a couple of coffees, and perhaps a cocktail in the evening, and you're already close to covering the cost. Easy works best if you're realistic about it. It's not a luxury package. It's a controlled spend package. If you're mainly drinking beer, house wine, basic spirits and mixers, and a couple of cocktails a day, It does the job without pushing you into a much higher daily rate. This is a key detail people often miss. The Easy package does not include drinks in specialty restaurants. On MSC Poesia, that included venues like Kaito Sushi. If you sit down in a specialty restaurant with the Easy package and order a drink, you'll be charged for it. I knew this in advance, so I brought a glass of Prosecco with me and didn't order another drink there, but it's something to be aware of. This isn't a problem if you know about it beforehand. It is frustrating if you find out once the bill arrives. Premium Extra is the top-tier package on most UK and European MSC cruises, and it's also the most expensive. What you're paying for is range and fewer restrictions. The per-drink value cap is much higher, which means a wider cocktail list, premium branded spirits, champagne by the glass, and better wines are included. If you look at the menu, the difference is obvious. More cocktails, more spirit brands, champagne by the glass rather than just sparkling wine. This package makes sense if you actively order those drinks. If you're mainly drinking beer, house wine, or standard cocktails, it's very easy to overpay. It tends to work best on sea days, when you're on board all day and naturally ordering more drinks. On port-heavy itineraries, it's harder to justify purely on value. It's also worth remembering that even Premium Extra has limits. Some signature venues are excluded, and if you order above the cap, you pay the difference. For some people, Premium Extra is about convenience rather than savings. If you want to stop thinking about menus altogether, it can feel worth it. But if your drinking habits don't match the package, this is the easiest option to overspend on. The alcohol-free and minors packages are often overlooked, but they can be surprisingly good value. Bottled water, soft drinks, energy drinks, mocktails, coffees, and ice cream add up quickly, especially for teenagers. When bottled water alone costs a few pounds each, these packages can make sense, even if no one drinks alcohol. One thing to be aware of is that minors packages usually require an adult in the cabin to have a drinks package as well, which can affect the overall value for families. MSC applies a 15 alcoholic drink limit per day on drinks packages. Most people never get close to it, but it's worth knowing it exists. More importantly, check your receipts. On my cruise, I was charged for an upgraded mojito that I hadn't ordered. I went to reception and it was removed without issue, but it's a reminder to keep an eye on your onboard account. I also heard of drinks occasionally being added to the wrong cabin, which can push people closer to the drink limit without realizing. Buying your drinks package before you board makes a real difference. Pre-cruise prices are lower, and MSC regularly runs discounts. That's what I did, and it's why the Easy package felt particularly good value. Once you're on board, prices increase, and your options are more limited. For most UK and European cruises, the choice usually comes down to this. The Easy package if you're happy with limits and want the cheapest option. Premium Extra if you genuinely enjoy premium drinks and want no restrictions. Alcohol-free if you don't drink alcohol but go through a lot of water, soft drinks, and coffee. Or pay as you go if you're port-heavy and drink very little on board. The mistake isn't choosing the wrong package. It's not understanding what you're buying. Once you've sorted drinks, the next thing that really affects your onboard spend on MSC is food, because not all dining is included, and some options are absolutely worth paying for, while others really aren't.